I was a crackhead, a liar, a thief. I did every manner of evil you can imagine for taking a life, all in pursuit of drugs.
Alvin Powell was living the life. He was an NFL player, first with the Seattle Seahawks and then the Miami Dolphins. He seemed to have it all. But his addiction to drugs took control of his life. This is his story.
I started drugs in university.
In university.
The summer before my last year, I was 21.
Do you remember that first experience?
I absolutely do. It was absolutely great. My problem was starting to try to balance my getting high and my football career, which in the beginning, you always do it. You can always say, okay, I'm gonna stop smoking pot on this day, give myself a few days, game day is on this day, after game day I can start back. And I did that for a while, and I was able to keep that regimen up.
At any point during that period, were you thinking like this might be a problem, or you were like, no, this is good, I've got my schedule down and I'm managing?
I saw the cocaine starting to be a problem, and I started freebasing, not crack cocaine as they call it, the street. I would cook it up myself. That was the beginning of the end for me. Mm-hmm. But up until that time, I still maintained some sense of manageability. And then what happens is that I got drafted into the NFL by the Seattle Seahawks, right. And I was able to stop using completely. Nothing. No weed, no nothing. Train for about 3 months, get myself in unbelievable shape, go to camp, make the football team, no problem, and then I'd start back again. So I felt that I had control.
Mm-hmm. So when was the point where you could no longer manage?
During the '88 season. It just overtook me. That's the best way to describe that. When you're becoming an addict, there's so many things going on. For me, my wife left me, the kids. I just got kicked off the Seahawks. You got the poor me's. You're in this place where you're hurting bad, and you don't want to hurt, so you're smoking your weed. You can't be smoking. It's like this vicious cycle. You're trying to self-medicate to deal with everything, and at the same time, the self-medicating is just feeding your addiction, and you're just falling right. deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole.
So when was the point where you realized it's overtaken me, I'm out of control, I absolutely have a problem, and clearly I can't stop? Were there a moment where you just gave up and then just embraced the use?
Yep. The moment was the Wednesday night when I was at the Miami Dolphins. The weed comes out, and then the cocaine comes out, and I look at my watch, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I got a drug test in 4 hours. I flipped. That's when it hit me, like, you're out of control.
I don't know if this was the case for you, but a lot of addicts talk about like a rock bottom, the worst place that they were ever at emotionally in their addiction, relationships. What was that for you?
The season ended, the World Football League season ended. I ended up back in Miami at the church that I ran and got shelter at, because it was that bad. And I went to that church and I relapsed in the church. I was living upstairs in this church, and the kids that used to look at me as a mentor, as this guy that really overcame his addiction, and now he's back in the pro football, they're wearing my shirts and stuff like this, and the look in their eyes, it was that did me in, that look of this utter disgust and hurt and just confusion. And just that voice just said, Alvin, you should just kill yourself. You're killing kids now. You're hurting children. Just kill yourself. And I said, you know what? That's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I came back to Montreal to do that. And so I had a speedball cooked up for me, which is a mixture of cocaine and heroin. And I had a big enough piece when I put it on the pipe that I knew that within 8 seconds I'd be dead. And I went to a crack house on the carry to do just that.
Just moments before Alvin went to smoke what he thought would lead to his suicide, he got in a scuffle with someone, and somehow, still unexplained to him, a paper ended up in his hand.
But on that paper was a phone number, and I called the number. And my
Instead of using.
Yeah, and my sponsor, that's still my sponsor today, he's the one that came.
Even this experience wasn't enough to keep Alvin clean. For many addicts, the road to recovery doesn't happen overnight. It often takes many critical moments before one sticks and the decision to stop using is clear.
I got involved in a criminal act that resulted in me facing 3 years here in Canada, minimum. It was extortion, along with 2 other charges, attempted murder. Yeah, that's what they charged me with. And went to court date. This guy and the 2 witnesses didn't show up. And the judge had no choice but to throw the case out. That's exactly what happened. I said, I'm going to church.
And then that was it, you stopped using. You
I
said that.
stopped right then and there, ain't looked back.
How many years ago was that?
A few, over 20.
Alvin now shares his experiences and struggles with addiction to help the youth of today. He has founded Saving Station Foundation, a nonprofit organization which is dedicated to the elimination of youth substance abuse.
It's one addict upon another. That's what it's all about. And it's all about one singularity day at a time. So it's the same principle that I take into working with the kids, because it's truth-based. What do we have today? I'm a drug addict, and I'm working my recovery program, if you want to call it that, today, just like you. So let's you and I get through today, and we'll worry about tomorrow if we are fortunate enough to open our eyes to